judge gave me 25 to life. You don't want 25 to life, son. Wake up all builders.
What up to us, gang? What up to us, squad? It's your girl, Monty, 2 times up in here, and I am back with another, or should I say, a new podcast. Welcome to Surviving PWI. My name is Armani, and this is my co-host JT or Jeffrey. You introduce yourself, Jeff.
Hey, how y'all doing? Is Jeff, aka Royal Jeff here? How y'all doing?
I'm pretty sure our listeners is doing really good today. So they're probably wondering, what is surviving PWI? Should we tell them what surviving PWI is?
Like 4 years at Cabrini will tell you that. Or five in my case.
Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to censor that. But yeah, surviving that college and just multiple predominantly white institutes in general. You know, it's kind of exhausting for a person of color, especially a person of color that's so used to being a part of like a diverse environment. Like, you know, Jeff, me and you, we from Philadelphia. We're so used to seeing, you know, diverse crowds. And then imagine transition that from a very diverse environment to an environment that you're not familiar with. Like, when you first went to this PWI, what was your first reaction when you first stepped foot on campus?
I mean, do you want my full opinion? Like when I first got there, went up there for they just accepted Students Day, or just like when I first got on campus to live up there?
I would say both. I mean, hey, on this podcast, we're always honest. We don't hold our fucking tongue for anybody. In this podcast, we talk about a lot of deep and personal shit about surviving PWIs, because there's a lot of students of color who are struggling in these institutes because they're not getting treated fairly, or they're not getting the proper education, or they have some very fucked up racist stories that happen. So Jeff, if you have stories that you think may not be for the others, I would say trigger warning right here, because you may not know that this man may grow deep into it, because this is some deep stuff. Take it away, bud.
Okay, so I guess when I first got to that school, it was like it seemed okay. It seemed okay for the most part. Then I saw that it actually seemed okay. Since when I first went there, I was shy and stuff like that, and I thought this might be the right school for me because I'm a shy person. This might help me open up a bit, and also the fact I didn't take the SAT, so probably my only option.
I mean,
But
that's true. That's true. There's some predominantly white institutes that accept students without SAT scores. Why you think all them institutes have a lot of black people and diverse people in general?
I mean, listen, I'm not a good test taker. I'll just leave that there. I gotten better since I immigration. I gotten better, but yeah. So, and I guess when I went to go live up there and actually start school, it was like it felt odd. Like I thought this would have been like a school of unity and stuff like that, and then like I'm seeing like division. I'm like, you see you see all the sports teams sitting at one table. You see all the sports teams sitting at one table, and occasionally they got a few girls with them. Like if it was a basketball team, you see they got a few cheerleaders with them. Like, it just felt like that. Like, and then you got a bunch of white students sitting together, maybe, and occasionally one or two black folks sitting with them. You got a table of black folks sitting over here, and maybe one or two white people or other people of color sitting with them. So, like I said, it's diverse.
Yeah, it is. And you know, speaking of, like, to piggyback off of what you were saying, yeah, there's like, when it comes to going to that school, it's it's like everybody sits with their own race, you know.
Yeah.
And there's like occasions, very rare occasions, where though you got people that sit together as unity, but in most occasions, especially in the school that me and Jeffrey went to, it's really not like that. It's just very segregated, but it's not really.
It's that phrase from the 60s, separate but equal.
Yeah, pretty much. Like pretty much about that. And then man, we can go on and on. Like, what's the most like messed up story that you heard as a person of color at a PWI?
The worst story I had, who- um, not really sure. I've heard a lot, and some of it I really can't. Some of it I really can't remember. But from what I can tell you, is how they screwed over a lot of my friends. Like, can I tell? Like how they're not telling them they have to take this class, stuff like that, That's what I've mainly been hearing. That's what I've mainly been hearing, and like,
Yeah, like I heard about that. Like a lot of seniors wasn't able to graduate because of that shit. And unfortunately that really do be happening in our schools. Like they be telling students that, hey, you gotta do this 1 minute, then like surprise they said, oh, you gotta do this and a third. But I bet if the student was not a person of color, you would have made sure that they have everything set up.
mhm.
It's just everybody's afraid of an educated white person.
Cause that's the one thing. Cause that's the one thing they fear.
Yep. Then brother Malcolm X said
Oh
that.
yes, he did. God rest his
Like
soul.
it just come. Yep. It just really comes to show that there are certain systems that are built just to just to not just to not make people of color feel equal. You got schools in certain states like Florida or Mississippi. That's, Mississippi, for example. I think allegedly they're bringing back the Jim Crow laws, and they are fully aware that is racist. And then, mind you, you know how Jim Crow laws were back in the day, especially segregation.
Oof.
So imagine college students and students in general, like basically BIPOC students, and you got some BIPOC students that go to a PWI. Imagine how hard life would be if that law was passed in Mississippi. 9 out of 10, they'll probably kick every person of color out
Oh my god. Oh my god.
because it's a predominantly white institute.
Jim Crow laws. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. You bet. Let's just be glad we live past them. Let's just be glad we live past the Mason Dixon line. Or wait, is it before or it's one of the two? We're near it. I know that.
Yeah, like, and then I believe in Florida, they passed all types of fucking fucked up laws, such as, don't say gay bill, and change, and like banning certain books that teach about racism, and they really just banned critical race theory in Florida and Texas, I believe. So they just really, really want to make these students of color
See,
feel unwelcome.
I'm gonna say this: we need those books. Like whether they want to admit it or not, we need those books. Like, 'cause
Exactly.
I think I had a friend. Well, she's a friend of ours. She told me they banned this book. What's it called? Rolling Thunder, Hear My Cry. And like I remember reading that book in 8th grade. It was a good book. See, books.
They banned that
Yeah.
book?
See, we need books like that to teach the children. We need books like this, people. It's like you and like,
Yeah.
cause listen, we need our kids to grow up and learn that yeah, this happened. Here's how we can move forward.
And then you remember what they did to
Oh
Beethoven?
Lord.
And they really had us thinking that Beethoven was was white, and same as King Tut. They really believe that they really had us thinking that King Tut and Beethoven was these white individuals, like like the white savior complex is a thing, which is crazy.
Covering up
And
the
then
truth.
come to find out, fucking King Tut is black, and Beethoven was black. They whitewashed the hell out of Beethoven, and it took me to college to find out about Beethoven. I was like a freshman in that time. I'm like, what? I never forgave some of my teachers in high school for that. Although like my high school was very diverse, but I would never forgive some of the teachers that taught me that.
I'm trying to think because at my high school, well, we didn't dive into race theory like that. I mean, we did. I mean, we covered it a bit, like my junior year history class. Because remember what I told you in history class in history class, I said I was telling you, wake me up when we start covering the slavery, and then wake me up again when we hit Jim Crow, because that's what I really care about, not all this other bullshit.
Yeah. And then when they try to teach us about history, and if you are a person of color at a PWI institute, you will relate to this. Don't you hate when you are in the class and you're like the only black student or like one of the few black students in the class,
Oh,
and your teacher starts talking about slavery or racism? Have you had your classmates turn around and
tell
look
me
at you?
about it. Well, they didn't look at me, but you know how awkward. But you know what? It wasn't until I went to that school that I realized, oh, so this is what it feels like to be the only black person in the room. Oh, like because I never
Yeah,
felt that way until I went to college.
yeah, the feeling is weird. Like, and it's really weird that, even being like, especially going to the predominantly white institute and being the only person of color in the classroom, it feels weird. It feels weird because you can feel the disgust or the annoyance or the weird energy from from your classmates. I remember, and Jeff, I believe you remembered this when we came and has spoken about this movie, that this short film that
Yeah,
we made. And I remember majority of people that paid attention were the people of color, but there were some white kids that paid attention, but the rest of the class who are who are non people of color really wasn't paying attention. It's just really comes to show that some of these folks just really don't
yeah.
care.
Speaking of that, so like when I had to go and actually show the film to another class, and this time I did it on my own. Like it was a whole debate. Like you just see, yeah, like
A
because
debate?
you remember I told you that this. So the one girl, she said she was say, she was saying like because she's a few relatives that work as cops, and I think she said one of them did get killed, one of them did get shot, and it hurt her, and I did say, well, and I do agree, not all cops are bad, but yeah, there are crooked ones out here. And
Of
so,
course.
and then one of the other classmates, she did disagree with her, and I could tell though, and I could tell the white girl, she did not take it too well, and I was like, oh Lord, this caused an uproar. I didn't, I wasn't expecting that.
Exactly. Eg- eg- exactly. Like, I have no words.
Well, I guess all I can say is it happens like yeah, we all have different views and we all have different views in life, but I think we can all find a way to make peace. Yeah, just like how I told you, there's like I could be friends with a Republican because I got a few friends that are Republican, and I can still break bread with them even if we have different views.
Yeah, speaking of Republicans, um, I don't know if this ever happened to anybody, or if people that go to me and Jeff's college Was y'all around during the 2020 during 2021
Ooh.
school year during the Trump versus Biden election? Oh man, them supporters came
Oh my
out
God! Wait. Go
hard.
back to the fall. Do you remember how many people you saw wearing just like Trump merchandise and the hats and stuff, and then the mask too?
Yo, I lost
Yeah,
count.
one guy, he was so committed. Like when this is still during COVID and stuff, so we're taking Zoom classes and stuff like that. His background is just a Trump flag. I'm like, oh God, he is so committed. Like, listen,
Yeah, they
I'm
be
sorry. Go ahead.
yo and newsflash to the current Trump supporters. Your man's got arrested. He got charged, and he ain't running for election. Like they be so fucking delirious and delusional that they don't see that their precious leader is falling
Yeah.
apart.
This is what I always wanted to hit a Republican with this, but explain January 6th. Explain
What?
January 6th to me. Just ask a Republican that. Explain January 6th, 2021.
Explain January 2020,
January.
2020
Yep.
2021
Yeah.
to a Republican.
Honey, you don't remember what happened?
Oh, of course, yeah, I know what happened, and this is how I'm gonna explain it to a Republican as best as I could. Your fellow dumbass supporters, right, decided it was a great idea to listen to a man who was so salty and in his feelings that he lost the election fair and square, that he encouraged you guys to attempt a fucking coup d'etat at the Capitol building. And a lot of people fucked around and found out, and a lot of people
Listen,
they done got hurt. They done got I think a
mm-hmm,
couple of them got killed, and a lot of them got
uh-huh. And
arrested.
that's why
So when
a lot
that
of them on no
shit
fly list.
yo, a lot when that shit happened, all the Trump supporters at the PWI that we go to were very, very like quiet.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me, and I didn't see one at a good time. Maybe you have a different story. But when I saw it, when I came to school, like after all that happened, everybody was quiet.
You don't say.
Everybody was quiet. It was like the Trump supporters are ashamed to come out. And speaking of like white ashame, there was this time I was in my class and I took this class called Engage with the Common Good. And this one was all like domestic violence and all that. I don't know what we was talking about in the class, but we were talking about like, certain words that it's okay to say to one community if you are a part of it versus what you should not say if
Mm-hmm.
you're outside of this community. And then next thing you know, we were talking about like the word, like, like words. And then I don't know how we got to the N-word topic, but this white fat piece of shit going to sit back here and he really gives me Gamer Boy smelling like
Oh,
corn chip vibes. And
oh my
he's
God.
definitely
Oh,
a dork.
wait, my.
And
Let me ask you something. How much of a dork? Let me see. That's South Park, Make Love, Not Warcraft dork, or Ed and Eddie dork.
South Park Make
Oh,
Love,
he had
Not
no
Warcraft
life.
dork. Yeah, he wears the glasses. He's the exact shape as that guy from the show.
Oh Lord.
Like, and look, I don't fat shame anybody. I really don't. I'm not the type to shame anybody and all that. But come on, you got some people that fit some people's energy that fit that personality. Like some people's look be fitting into that personality. Like it's like you don't like calling somebody ugly, but and they be doing a lot of fucked up shit, and they look ugly as shit.
And you
So, but anyways,
and you just ugly on the inside and out.
yeah. But anyways, like cutting back to the topic. What this kid did was he sit back here and he asked he said this statement. He said if black people can say the N-word, everybody can say the N-word. I felt the energy in that classroom shift. When I mean by a white ashamed or white embarrassment, there was a lot of fellow white students in my class that were hiding their faces. A couple of them were like face palming. I know one of them wanted to say, "People like you are the reason why they hate us." All that, like, yo, that energy was chaotic.
All right, let me shed a little light on that. Listen, as a black person, I do believe in freedom of speech, but yeah, there are some words you just cannot say. And listen, I'm black, and yeah, I've been called the N word by white folks. Nowadays, I just don't get. Nowadays, I don't get angry. I took a page out of a friend's book. She said, just record them and let them act like a dumbass and expose them online. That's how you get even. Like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high.
Exactly. Exactly, like, and they be so mad when we recorded them.
Exposed.
I'm like, bro, you rather us hit
I
you?
don't got a problem doing that either.
But the one thing about going to predominantly white institutes is that they will do everything in the book to
Oh
protect
my God,
some
gaslighting.
students.
Ugh.
Yo, I done saw this happen on multiple occasions. We done saw this happen on multiple occasions, and before we like continue on, we do have some submissions that former current students has submitted to us. So if you haven't got a chance to submit your story about your experiences or a loved one's experiences at Predominantly White Institute, feel free to click the link in our description, or please give us a follow on our Instagram. We will put the links in our bio. Other than that, please share your score. Please share your story. But man, fuck, I forgot what I was about to say. What was I saying?
Don't
Damn,
even
what was I saying,
remember.
dude? Yo, dead ass. I forgot. Um, no, yeah. What I mean by like they really do whatever it takes to protect some of these kids up in here. When I mean they gaslight you, they make you feel like it's your problem, it's your fault, and all. Like for example, there was this officer, there was this public safety officer that I knew, and everybody was really cool with him. But this was one after the debate between Trump and Biden, where Trump told the Proud Boys to stand down. This motherfucker went on a racist rant going to say, white supremacy is non-existent. Oh, Antifa is a racist group. Blah, 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 blah. Like, like talking shit about Black Lives Matter, saying that Jacob Blake deserved to
Oh,
get shot
duh.
because he was a rapist. All that, mind you. Yeah, he said that.
Wow. I think his ass got fired.
Yeah, he got fired, but the thing is, they didn't tell me that he got fired. They just said I gotta keep a lookout. So I'm like, because they said that they can't reveal they can't reveal to
Of
me that he
course.
got fired. Man, the moment the moment he revealed his true colors about how he feels about Black Lives Matter and Black people in general, he lost that right.
Just say you don't like us, damn.
And the crazy part is, like, the one thing that's scary about these people is that they work as our faculty members and they smile our face like everything is all
Don't
right.
don't give
But
me
all
that.
reality
Don't
do
give me that
not.
fake smile bullshit. You know exactly you know exactly what the hell is going on here.
Yes, like when that public safety officer has snapped on me and has snapped and said all that, I I couldn't even look at him the same anymore. It was it just left like a bad taste in my mouth.
Deuces, dickhead.
You know? Yeah, and or the big struggle about being black in college is on a rainy day.
On a rainy day?
You know,
Go ahead,
you know what
cause
I'm
I go ahead. You
going with
gotta
this.
refresh my memory.
You know, on a rainy day, you go to class, you go to classroom, and you smell wet pennies and dog ass.
Oh Lord!
Yes, you smell that wet pennies and dog ass. You be like,
Might just get their
"What the fuck is that
might just get their dog
smell?"
a bath.
And turns out, but here's the thing: some schools don't allow animals unless it's an emergency port animal. But some of these folks don't be having the animals in class, so it's legit them smelling like that.
You need to get your ass up and get in the shower if you stinking like that.
Sorry, I never understand how can these people, especially in a public school, smell
They
like
just don't
that.
care. I mean, look, I had days where I had days where where I could go to class right after I get out of the gym, but I guarantee you, I don't smell like that.
Yeah, and the biggest struggle about being black in college is that, especially being black in the PWI, is that there's not a lot of hair stores, and you know the type of hair stores I'm talking about. That's catered to us, in the area. Like you really gotta travel to East Bubblefuck just to
Get
get
that,
the hair or the products
get to get that
that's for
conditioner,
your
get that
texture.
oil, that shampoo. Ugh.
because nothing from Sally's is gonna work for people like us. And then having to be lucky to find another person of color on campus that's either the same race as you or outside race as you, but knows how to do hair and all that. You'll be set. Or better yet, if they were your
Like
roommate,
Lord,
that's
you
even better.
save me for having to go home and get my hair braided. Now all I gotta do is go home and get and get the sides done. Ugh. I tell you, money that F.
Just but in general, or this happened in other PWI schools, is that you really don't see any black owned hair salons or any hair salons that know how to do black hair in the area. Like you really gotta be lucky that you know somebody on campus that does hair. It's like you gotta find them on Instagram or at our school, uh they did
Yeah,
like
like I
business cards and all that.
knew a guy who did
Like it's
knew
like
a guy
urban.
who did hair because he. In fact, I think I saw him and I think I saw him in that main building. Can't tell you the name, but that main building. He was being the he would be in the bathroom doing. He was giving a boy a shape up in the bathroom.
In the bathroom? Not
Oh yeah,
bull giving a
oh yeah,
haircut in the
yeah, in
goddamn
that
bathroom.
bathroom. And this is like this. It couldn't have been early. It couldn't have been early in the day because classes
That's
and stuff and people coming in and out. I think it had to be like either later in the day or it's like the evening.
probably like probably when like class was done. So it had to be when people literally just left
Like
and there's no classes in that building. But yeah, that's the struggle being black in
please
college.
listen. Listen. You could do it in a dorm, but then sometimes I be feeling bad for for them cleaning people because actually I know this is a bit off topic, but in my freshman years, them white folks they got drunk and they tore up that bathroom. I was like, oh my lord. And
Yeah, that's one thing about that. That's one thing about about people at PWI institutes. They have no respect for the
they was
cleaning
drunk
people.
too. One guy in there, one guy in there nude, and he spaced down in the toilet. Oh Lord, it was a
Or nah, the tough part about, being black at college is that, seeing a lot of your people selling out for, you know, people that don't be with that don't
Tell
be
me
with
about
us.
it.
I done heard and seen on multiple occasions of people selling their own race out. Like, it's even to the point that, and this is tiring to hear. I am so tired of seeing people cooning. Or did you know that I heard multiple on like 2 occasions that there are some people
What?
that are into race play. This is people. This is people at our PWI. And if you know somebody at your school that did race play, please submit your story below and tell us about it so we can understand how most deeply fucked up
Ew.
it is. Yes, like, I'm sorry. I am not letting no person degrade me because
Pink shaming.
unfortunately, that's a kink. Yeah, and this happened. Like, this legit happened, dog.
Listen, I
It's
know people that
fucking
got their
weird.
kinks, but even that's taking it. But I'm not gonna be degraded. I got
Yeah,
standard. I'm not gonna be
especially
called
like
out my name.
that.
I'm not gonna be called out my name in the bedroom. Hell no.
There's some people at PWIs that are into that shit, and like, you hear a lot from going to PWI. Like, I barely hear much about what's been going on in HBCUs. And hey, and if you from an HBCU and you transfer from a PWI, what was that transition like? Please submit it down in the comments below, or submit it in the story. We want to hear your story. We had some students, like PWI, like our PWI was so bad that a lot of people
Oh yeah.
had transferred.
Especially after the especially
Like, we
during
had
and
so
after the
many
pandemic.
transfers. Yeah, like the pandemic era was
Tell me about
crazy.
it. When we were stuck at home, oof.
Yeah, that shit was insane. Like, imagine being stuck at home, right? And
Yeah.
you going to school. Now our school, they did not handle the
Mm.
pandemic well. Like, you remember, they didn't handle it well enough. Like, they were very much
As to be
unorganized.
expected of that school.
Like, remember one time they gave us a very long as winter break, and then turned around and had us start school super late.
Mhm.
Like, have us like move back on campus super late.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I
Like,
remember. In the first few weeks, we were online, and then we came back. We came back around Valentine's Day.
yeah, like, that didn't make no fucking sense. Like, and especially as, like, coming as a person of color, we were already there was a lot, like, Black Lives Matter and the uh Asian hate movement was the anti Asian hate was very hard, especially during like the pandemic. Like, you got people looking at the Black Lives Matter people differently, and then you got people that is looking at Asian and Pacific
Hmm.
people, differently too. And that shit was difficult, especially, going to a very to a school that's known to be diverse. Like, our PWI, despite it being known as a predominantly white institute, a wise person once said this is
All
not a
facts.
PWI. So, a wise person once told us a wise person had once said us that our school is not actually a PWI. It is mainly diverse, but it is historically a PWI. Like, there's a lot of diverse people. Like, when I first came up there, it was more people of color than
That's the one thing I like, and
Caucasians.
I spoke to other people who've had that experience because I know somebody who went to Bloomsburg, and she told me there's a lot more black folks up here than you think. Don't let the diversity up here, that diversity will at this school fool you. There's a lot more black folks up here than you think.
Yeah, and then like when COVID happened, and then a very fucked up situation that happened in fall 2022 happened. A lot of people of color, leave like had left the school. Like and then like like this person had told me that I'm not going to reveal much of it because that's their personal business. But I'm only allowed to reveal that there is this one situation in the students' residential life and their school that tried to basically erase his whole information from the system and basically trying to like have him go on some missing shit from that movie
You know they wrong
because
for
they didn't
that.
like him. They are wrong for that, but they didn't care. And the crazy part is one of the people that contribute to the students' departure from the school
Mm,
is a person of color. Yeah,
yeah.
they really do be your own people. And like I said, the tough part about being black in college, besides seeing and hearing about the racist shit that happened in school, the one part that hurts the most is see it and hearing that your people is selling out.
And that stings.
It does sting. Like I done seen people sell each other out. I done experienced people selling me out. Um
Mm,
for the masses. Like I done seen it all. And again, it's
it
just really
is.
it's just really sickening. Like how would you feel what's your advice on people that sell out? Like what would you say to a
I
person
just want to know
that's selling out
why.
their own that's
Like,
selling out
is
their
there a
own
reasoning
race?
behind why you're doing this? Because something's not kind of adding up here. If I'm seeing it.
Yeah. It's like homeboy. It's like these people really be pulling a Carlton from Bel Air. And if y'all don't know if you saw Bel Air, but during the first season,
Mm,
Carlton was really, really being a coon. And I actually watched Bel Air for the first time, and the character Will is there. He's in a very prestigious school, and they're like mainly predominantly white. And he encountered a racist person who was singing "hot nigga" and dropped the N word. And yo, it reminds me. Do you remember that one time when somebody was singing "Dreams and
mm-hmm.
Nightmares" and
Oh
he
yeah,
dropped the
oh yeah.
N word?
Cabrini went to lengths to cover that up. Oh,
It's,
I mean, the school.
it's
I'm
okay.
sorry, the school went
It's
to lengths to
okay,
cover
dude.
that up. But yeah.
Yeah, they're very known for that, and like that's like the very scary part about predominantly white institutes is that you got some schools that will go through great lengths to cover shit up, and I'm not just saying on behalf of us, on behalf of me and Jeff's alma mater, but there's a lot of schools like our alma mater that
Mm-hmm.
that be covering shit up.
You can cover
And
it up all
my
you want.
thing
It's still
is,
gonna. It's still gonna
why?
surface.
Yeah, like it's like I remember during COVID, shit about our predominantly white institute, and this is during 2020. So a lot of predominantly white institutes had this happen to them. Our school had a school called Black Ed such and such, and there's a lot of, and then there's like this is also this Instagram account called Black at PWI, whereas though there's like so many submissions that dedicate towards students of color facing discrimination and issues at their campus. And mind you, got some of these campus who have like a very alma mater that's like we relate to diversity, and the fact that they're not honoring
Yeah.
their motto, says a lot about their character.
Mm.
It's like it's a big lie. And speaking of that, as I mentioned earlier, we will be reading a submission that our viewers has sent to us. Jeffrey, since you have our forms that you can submit to us by clicking the link down below, feel free to read
Okay.
one of the submissions.
Okay, here we go.
And
Okay, here we go.
that'll be it for today.
Being one of three, or the only one that gets that African American in class and feeling uncomfortable because if the stares or getting looked at when the answers is a mess.
Yeah, this is what I believe that we had talked about this earlier. We can honestly read another one as well. Like to whoever submitted this, yeah, we completely understand of being, the only or one of the few African American students in class, and you just
Uncomfortable,
feel
and then when they
the
bring race
stares
topics up,
that
it's like,
people.
oh god.
Yeah, it's like they're exhausted and they don't want to hear it. It's like, bro, if it wasn't for your ancestors, we wouldn't be
Yeah,
learning this shit.
I'm gonna add this. Yeah, it does feel weird. And then when I actually see it, and when you actually see it in school, it's like, oh god, so that's what this feels like. Wow.
Yeah, and I know I said we're gonna read one, but since it's our first episode, we're gonna do a 2-for-1. I'll read the second one, and this one is very lengthy. So this person said about their school they attended to. They said literally a bunch of fucking weirdos. They're all like cling. The parties are fucking whack. Got white boys
Oh.
throwing bottles, but let a Hispanic or a black person do that. As soon as you walk into the party, and if no one knows you or invited you, you need to get the fuck out. Like, what kind of college fun is that? BS. Like, literally, you have to sign your soul away to get details of events that you are going. And at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Cause y'all play the same damn music and shake your ass to some corny shit and all the white hate on a beautiful Hispanic and black woman. Y'all all want the attention. This school is ass. Y'all all are fake weirdos. And the colored people that code switch, you even more fucking weird. Might as well bleach your skin and forget where you came from.
Oh damn, this person went in.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, this person definitely went in, and like I said before, guys, if you have a story that you'd like to share, feel free to once again click the link to the Google Forms at the description down below, or give me and Jeff a follow on our Instagram. We will have the links in our bio as well, and it's on our page, so you will not be able to miss it. So other than that, that concludes the episode. Our first episode of Surviving PWI. Ow. And we will see you in the next episode. Guys. Any final words that you want to say, Jeff?
Be you, defy the odds. This is Jeff Royal out.
Out. See y'all.